one of the people that I have a lot of respect for is somebody that has taken her position and her, I'll say, fame, and people knowing who she is, and not just rested on it. She's passionate about what she believes. She's passionate about this country. She's passionate about democracy. And one of the things I deeply respect about our next speaker, Alyssa Milano, is the fact that she and I don't agree on everything. In fact, to be honest with you, probably if you take the over 1,000 people on this call or in streaming, I doubt there are 2 people anywhere in that group that agree on everything. But we both have become friends because there's a lot of respect for where we come from, what our goals are, and what we're focused on. So with that, I'm proud, happy, and excited to introduce my friend, Alyssa Milano.
Thank you so much, Congressman. What can I say? Thank you for inviting me to join you here. And thank you for just all the work you do and all the panelists, the work that all of you are doing to protect democracy. I was struck at the beginning of this webinar or Zoominar when you said that we were fighting against fear, right? And Officer Fanone said that he believes in tough love, right? And when I was a little girl, my mother said something to me that stayed with me my entire life, and I try to base every single decision that I've made as an adult on this one thing that she said to me, which was fear and love cannot live in the same house. And I'm choosing love, and that's why I'm here. Love for my country. And I think people are genuinely surprised when I team up with Republicans. And I think it's sad, but I think it's a sign of the times that we live in. Working across ideological divides used to be seen as something that was normal and important. It was the way the work of the American people was done. And now I feel that it is seen by members of both parties as a betrayal. And as Adam said, I don't agree with all of his positions. I know he does not agree with all of my positions. And I think that that's true for each of us regarding some of the candidates that Country First has named, in the 2022 Defenders of Democracy. But each of these candidates, I think, has proven that when the most powerful forces in our country try to tear down our democracy, they will stand up and fight. They'll say, if you want to destroy our country, you have to come through me first. And that is the most important thing to me. That goes beyond party. It goes beyond, any philosophical disagreements that we may have. And that's what patriotism looks like, right? No matter what party you support, it is vital, it is essential that we have a worthy opposition with whom we can disagree in good faith. In good faith. And we need to know that agree or disagree, the people who are in office will protect us, will protect our country. And that's, why I'm here tonight, standing with you, my Republican friend, in support of all of the defenders of democracy. And I hope that everyone watching tonight will join us, not only, in this mission, but also in being more open to dialogue for the sake of democracy and the health of not only the country, but the people in our country.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. It's interesting. You said at the beginning, you can choose fear, you can choose love. You know, you can choose hate, you can choose hope, but everybody has that choice to make every day. And, you know, the darkness in every look, I personally believe everybody in your heart, every day you're fighting kind of a battle of light and dark, right? You can acquiesce to the darkness, and or you can let your heart be filled by light. We don't win that battle every day. And I think it's harder to do it because fear, anger, division is really motivating. And to have somebody, you know, come on like you and just be willing to say, look, democracy is what matters. We need a lot more of that in this country. And we're seeing that grow. We're seeing it build. Let me just ask you a brief question, because you touched on what you hit what I wanted to ask you very well. But once again, if you could give somebody just a little bit of advice about putting some of those partisan stripes aside for the defense of democracy, what would you say? And I'm not talking, you know, if there's issues that are huge, right? We're not saying everybody puts aside their partisan stripes. We all have opinions, and we should. That's frankly what we want to get back to debating. But just the defense of democracy, the idea that your vote counts, and your vote, you should have the opportunity to vote. What kind of brief advice do you have to give to people about just like how to reconcile that?
Well, it's interesting because you before, and I wrote it down, you called it an uncomfortable alliance. And I would say it's not only uncomfortable, but it's a necessary alliance at this point. And these conversations are not easy, especially now when everything is so divided and we're all living in the silos of the algorithms of social media. So we're not exposed to other positions. We're not exposed to, you know, just human decency in the same way that we used to. It's not about humanity anymore. And this is all, you know, this is why I met with Senator Cruz on gun violence prevention, and why I've been working with Senator Murkowski, who I know Country First has endorsed, on getting the Equal Rights Amendment passed, so that there are protections against gender discrimination in the Constitution. This is not about party life. This is not about this is not about my ideology. And if we could get outside of ourselves, this is about protecting people. And I've always said that voting is about protecting people. It's about protecting the people that you love. It's about protecting your neighbors. It's about protecting sometimes lifestyles that you might not agree with. It's about protecting people to make their own decisions. And it's about we have to get things done for the American people. Too many people are struggling, and we need to get things done. And that means working together so people can live happy and healthy lives, free of any kind of oppression. You know, and if we don't come together for candidates who actually protect democracy, we won't have a democracy to protect, and thus we can't protect the American people. And that's, again, what this needs to all be about. And this is not hyperbole. This is truly, you know, an existential crisis for our country. And if people who are willing and able to ignore the votes of the people and the protections of the Constitution, if those people assume power, our votes will never mean anything ever again.